Hello everyone, this is SUTV Live and we're under the Bramall Lane lights for a Yorkshire derby as Sheffield United take on Hull City. The Blades have the chance to open up a 14-point gap over third place as their pursuit of automatic promotion continues. All of the team news is on the way. We'll reflect on Saturday's win over Stoke and hear from Paul Heckingbottom, Jayden Bogle, Max Lowe and Daniel Jebbison. Kick-off just under 45 minutes away, and for all of the match pass information and broadcasting regulations for tonight's game, go to the website sufc.co.uk. Well, we're lucky because we're in the warmth of the studio. It's a bit fresh behind me, but we're looking forward to what could be a cracker of a game. Sheffield United against Hull City. Kick-off 7:45, and watching along with me, two former Sheffield United teammates who were part of the Triple Assault campaign. It's Carl Asaba and Michael Brown. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Let's start with you, Carl. How are you feeling about this one?
Really good, excited. Even more so now seeing the team. Really, really good.
And you can relax, Michael. I've done a sweep of the studio to look for any suspicious hidden mobile phones.
Easier. That's the problem.
We
Straight away, I'm worried.
We don't want another Gary Lineker happening tonight. Yeah, if
we
Cosy
don't
was
want
here,
any of that.
If Cosy was
could
here,
be.
Yeah, he could well
Never
be.
rule it out. I'm concerned.
No, we don't want another Gary Lineker tonight, but hopefully
get the mute button ready wherever we can. That's what I say.
The only moaning and groaning we hope to hear tonight is from the Hull fans, right?
Definitely. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and when you look at that league position at the moment, looks very healthy.
Really, really good. I'm so impressed. Obviously, great results. Obviously, coming back, World Cup was obviously a sort of hindrance in some squads and some ways people play and how they've come out getting results. But I think Sheffield United have been unbelievable with the results that they've got. And squad rotation is coming into play, isn't it? With a lot of sort of the players needed.
Let's take a look at the team then for tonight. A couple of changes from the weekend. Going out are McAtee and Sharp. Coming in, Doyle and Jebbison. So Foderingham will be in goal, of course. Back three of Ahmedhodzic, Egan and Robinson, Bogle and Lowe, the wing-backs. Incidentally, a 50th appearance in all competitions for Jayden Bogle tonight. Norwood, Berger and Doyle, with Njai and Jebbison up front. And of course on the bench, a name that leaps out is Ollie McBurney, who's involved for the first time since the Wigan game just before Christmas, and great to see him coming back to be able to put some competition for places up there again. Carl.
Yeah, a really good team. I think Tommy Doyle has been wonderful since he's come here. He hasn't reached the same levels since his injury, but each match he's getting better. And I just think Jebbison, his last 3 or 4 performances, he's ready to go now. He is, I'm so excited for him. He looks like he's got the bit between his teeth, and he's got everything. And what a partnership that can be with Njai.
Yeah, I mean, great opportunity for him. He's 19. He burst onto the scene with that goal at Everton, as I recall, in the Premier League. He scored in the FA Cup at Millwall. I think it's only his 6th league start of his Sheffield United career tonight, but he's got to seize the opportunity now, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was covering the game at Everton when he came on. He was selected, and you're thinking, who is this kid? So you're scampering around, asking, give us everything you've possibly got on him. And then obviously he's been put to the back burner, so a lot of experience at the top of the pitch for Sheffield United, but now another opportunity. I mean, talk about youngsters and the future of the football club with those two. So really exciting. You're going to get energy. The composure will be obviously still waiting. Ilman Njai has obviously done so well. That's going to help him.
Do you think that the loan spell at Burton has helped his development, and how, if so?
Yeah, it does. The playing in front of the crowd. Obviously, he played in the Premier League, but week in, week out, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank helping him. But when he came back last year, there was so much pressure on his shoulders. I thought for a couple of games, he just looked lost. He wasn't playing naturally. He was trying to do stuff.
He snatched at a chance, I remember, at the Cop end. I forget who it was against, but ballooned it into the Cop.
But since he's been back here this season after his injury, he has been something else. His performance at Millwall, he looked so hungry. He came on away at QPR, was a handful. It's as though they've unleashed him now. They've got the pressure off him.
It's a good time, isn't it?
Oh,
do you know when you look, he says, well, the team are flying. It's probably a perfect opportunity for him to go in.
And all that was lacking really is a bit of energy. Him alongside Njai, taking a bit of the workload off Njai. The way we'll be able to press now, when we're really at it and we're pressing, we're a real formidable team. And full credit to Billy, he's 37, 38. and he's been pressing. Now we're going to have an even stronger press, and I'm really excited because we squeezed the life out of Hull away, and they couldn't cope with our press. And I think that's the manager's gone pure, fitness in the selection.
There've been lots of kind of landmark appearances for certain players within the squad. It is a landmark game for Jayden Bogle, his 50th appearance in all competitions. He brings so much to the table, doesn't he? I know Carl's a huge fan, and we'll get his thoughts in a moment again. I know he's part of the fan club, fully paid up member. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, it's limited opportunities as well, isn't it? There's competition in those places. So for me, I was just wondering to see how much of a career he's going to have at the football club. I was always waiting to say, how can he make it his own? How does he play every single week? He's obviously had his missed games, and I just think this is the type of team you want to come into right now at this time, and I feel though it's a good opportunity. But you'd expect him to now go on with his career to fulfil so many more than that amount. I would have expected him to do a little bit more than he has, but I expect him to go on now.
I think he was very unfortunate with his injury. He was playing some incredible footballs last season. He scored the goal away at Reading. Then some of his performances were incredible.
The one at Birmingham was special, wasn't it?
That first touch with it, just brilliant. The injury, obviously it was a massive thing, but the way he's come back and then he had a little setback. So mentally the boy's so strong. He's undoubted his technical ability. But that side of the pitch, Boulders has been great this season. And it would have been hard for Bogle to get, to justify fighting his way through. So I feel really gutted for Boulders. But I think our wing-backs, I said it on Saturday, our wing-backs are key to how we play. Their touch map of where they are, they just roam everywhere. And they cause so many problems. And Saturday, one of them scored 2 and the other one set up 1. They're so important to how we play.
So we've seen the team. Can we have a look at the formation? I think we all know how this looks now, don't we? We see it every single week. Ollie Norwood, we're going to hear from him in just a moment. Sander Berger and Tommy Doyle alongside him. Sander Berger, I don't want to be critical, he's been brilliant all season, but in terms of getting back from the injury, it's tough, isn't it, to get back to the levels you were at when you pick up a knock and everyone expects you to pick up from where you left off, Mike.
Well, when you're one of the main players, straight away everybody's looking at you. But seeing how well he done in the Premier League, and then the journey's continued. So you want him to drive the team through the centre. So when you played more appearances and you're a little bit fitter, a little bit sharper, that's the difference where you can actually drive and make the difference. Because I think when he does that, he glides that nobody can keep up with him. He's got this stride. So I want him to do that more often, to step into the space. And you can only do that at times when you've not got that little niggling injury, or you've had more appearances. And then at that point, I just think he's unplayable at times. But there's still a level. Can he improve? Yeah, of course he can. But it's a great asset for the football club to have him in the centre of the pitch driving forward. And again, he's got the protection. I think it's a really good balance, isn't it? That Hecky can actually change that midfield area with different.
Well, he's being used more defensively. When you've got Bogle flying up, the outside right of the free in midfield is not able to go. That's where Berg is so strong when he's driving in that final corner. And when you've got Bogle there, he sort of has to cover Bogle's run. So I don't think he's as.
But I think Norwood can do that as well, though, can't he? He can step across and watch for the space. You got 3 defenders. I think it's there that you can do that in the home games.
Oh well, here this should be a proper attacking. That lineup is just screaming goals, isn't it?
Fingers crossed. We'll
it's
get
screaming.
goals as
no,
well.
It's screaming.
Why is
no screaming tonight?
Why has he said that? Fingers crossed.
Okay, calm down. It's early doors. Right, let's hear from Ollie Norwood. We know what kind of a value he brings to the team. Recently clocked up his 200th appearance in Sheffield United colours. I caught up with him not so long ago. He says he's ready for another big night under the lights.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Good run lately. We've made our home form really good. Winning the cup as well. So yeah, it's good times, and it's always good to play on a Friday night under the lights. It's as footballers, we enjoy them occasions.
What kind of a test do you think Hull will be? The manager said that he feels it will be a very different Hull side to the one you beat earlier in the season.
Yeah, it will be. I know their manager really well. I had him when I was at Brighton. Very good coach. Obviously, he did really well last season with Derby as well, with being the assistant manager there. And he stepped into his first job, and he's a good coach. He'll have them well drilled. But every single game in the Championship brings its own problems, its own challenges. we've just got to worry about ourselves without being disrespectful to anybody else. You know, we know if we play the way we can play, then we can, you know, be better than most teams, and that's all that we focus on is playing our game and making them change the way they want to play. You're
in a fantastic position, but whenever I hear players interviewed, we don't look at the table. Is that genuine? Is that true?
Yeah, there's no point. There's still 18, 19 games left to go. There's nothing can be won yet. The only place that matters is in May when the league's decided. So for us, it's another game. It's another 3 points up for grabs, and let's see where it takes us.
I think you said recently that you're playing yourself, that is the best football of your career so far. What is it that's changed this season? Have you been given more responsibility maybe?
A little bit, yeah. But we spoke in the off-season about being better with off the ball. And I've worked hard with Stu and the gaffer as well in, you know, after games, clips where we can be better. And, you know, I said I'm still learning. I'm 31 and played a lot of football, but I'm still learning, especially from somebody like Stu. You know, the amount of games he played, the level he played at. You know, you'd be stupid not to listen to him. So he's been great for me. But, you know, I'm just doing my job to help the team, and if that helps us to get to where we want to be, then brilliant.
You recently hit the landmark of 200 games. Could you see yourself finishing your career here? Is that something that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I've been on record many times saying, you know, I see this as home. I've said that, you know, I've enjoyed my time here, and it's up to the powers that be. So for me, I've said what I need to say, and just concentrating on this season and see where we end up.
Good luck tonight. Thank you.
That's Ollie Norwood, and of course the Blades stretched their gap over third place to 11 points with victory over Stoke at the weekend.
Stoke get this championship game underway. Terrific atmosphere inside Bramall Lane. Once again, close to 30,000 fans here. Space for Ahmed Hodic. Sharp. Njai. McAtee. Low with the cross. And in from Iliman Njai. A man who has been counting up the assists in recent weeks, but he's back in the goals. Into double figures, picked out by Max Lowe. United in front at Bramall Lane. Njai away from Jagielka. Wonderful play from Njai. McAtee. Oh, Silky again. McAtee. McAtee for company. Runs straight into Bogle, who breaks forward. An advantage being played here by the referee. Bogle into the area. Takes a deflection. And Jayden Bogle, second in as many games. He won't care about the deflection. United back in the groove and lead by 2-0. Looked like that was going in.
Yeah, it was a great. Oh.
And a chance, and in. Did Brown get a touch? Not sure he did. I think it might have gone all the way through. Powell's going to claim the goal, and Stoke, just before the break, are back in this one. Blades, as they like to do in the second half, kicking towards the cop. Bogle into Jebbison, back heel for Berger, Sander Berger!
Yes. Oh.
That was a real opportunity. United have it back with Doyle. In the final minute now. I think there'll be a good chunk of added time. Yeah. And I'm hearing there's going to be 5 minutes, Carl. As Bogle tries to charge forward, it might break for Tommy Doyle here. It does. Doyle, lovely ball in. Bogle! Yes. Settles the game surely for United with his second. Wonderful play by Doyle and Jayden Bogle. 3 in his last 2 now. Restores United's 2-goal advantage.
So Jayden Bogle playing a starring role in that win over Stoke. So naturally for him, it was the perfect afternoon.
It was a great day. A massive 3 points against a tough team. And again, we showed fight at the end when balls were coming into our box, how we defended. I thought it was amazing.
2 goals for you, first couple of the season after all the injury problems. So how good does it feel today?
It's a great feeling, especially the one at the end. It was under a bit of pressure just from long balls coming into our box. So I thought, let me try and create something and get forward. And I seen the opportunity and took the goal and relieved a bit of pressure off us.
It was kind of intense without it being excruciating today. That probably means just how competent you are at defending your own penalty area.
Yeah, we know teams are going to come here and make it difficult for us by playing a type of way which is putting balls into the box, and I think we know that and understand that, and we've got a game plan on how to deal with that, and I think we showed it and executed it well today. You
mentioned about the fact that teams come to Bramall Lane and make it difficult. Well, obviously so, but that's clearly a symptom of how well you guys are doing.
Yeah, I think they understand how we're playing, and I think we've got quality in the team where it's difficult for them to stop us. So when they do play like that, we have to have a similar game plan to match it defensively and dealing with long balls and 1v1 situations, and I thought we all done that well today.
So a couple of goals for Jayden Bogle and an assist for Max Lowe, who joined us here in this studio to give us his thoughts on that win.
I felt like the longer the game went, the stronger we were kind of getting. They made it tough at times, but I felt like we dealt with their threats, so positive 3 points.
You played a big part in that first goal. It was very good to watch. Yeah, well, Illy always tells me where he wants the ball when I'm crossing it in certain areas, so I knew he'd be there, and luckily he finished it. It was a great finish, and it was a nice team goal. I was going to say, the whole build-up was lovely, wasn't it? Yeah, we work on that in training. I mean, that's been the way we've played for years, so it's nice to be a part of it, and it's enjoyable playing in that system. And then the second goal with Jayden, 2-0 up at that stage, you were really flying. Yeah, I think you could see we were playing with confidence. We had a really good spell in the first half. It was scrappy at times, but we tried to play our style of play, and Jayden got a bit lucky again with the deflection, but he's always in those areas, and he got stronger as the game went on as well. And then Jayden again in the closing minutes to make it 3-1. Great to see. Yeah, he's hungry. I think everyone could see his desire to get in the box. Jebbo was gutted because it would have been his first goal here. But Bogues, he was full of energy and he kept going. It was a great ball by Doyley, and it's good to see him in those areas. And it just shows what good strength we've got within the squad, because Jayden's come in and he's proved a lot of people wrong because he's put in great performances. Do you allow yourself a little look at that championship table? No, it's 19 more games to go. That's the way we see it. I think we're in a lucky position. We've got a lot of games at home over the next 4 more games, so we're just taking it game by game and hopefully get a cup run on top of that as well, which would be good.
So the run continues, and Sheffield United, without being absolutely brilliant on Saturday, although they're having patches where they're looking really good, got the job done. And that's not me being nitpicking, well, I suppose it is, but we're not seeing them play wonderfully well for 90 minutes. They're doing enough, aren't they? No, yeah. Every game.
But there were spells where they were fantastic. You know, unfortunately, they didn't convert all the chances in those periods, or you are talking 5 or 6 goals. But you can't. You can't play 90 minutes be in total control of every match. Even Man City can't do that. I just think we're now, we all know that this team's really good, and I think we're expecting a little bit more. It's not enough to win. You know, we're expecting them to strangle teams for 90 minutes. So I think we need to appreciate.
Can you see that difference now? Do you know, when I watched several games and it looked quite tight and grinding results, professional, no gaps, but now do you see that the confidence and that sort of turn of the corner way, dominating teams much more goals, more creativity?
Well, the real attacking wing backs. No disrespect to Stevens or Boulders. Those 2 players, if you want to win games, you know you can trust them. Max Lowe and Bogle, you can outscore almost any team. The amount of chances. So I just think we've taken the handbrake off now. He's playing a team there. He's like, well, we can outscore. You know, at Man City, we're going to score more than you. And the boys have got that belief.
Because that is something, isn't it, when you actually challenge at the top of the table, when you finally get that belief. And that's the difference where, obviously, maybe pre-Christmas, you'd actually still, well, we're going to be hard to beat, we're going to be solid, we're going to be professional. And once you realise that you're the team, you seem to have that confidence in the dressing room, and I think that's what I was asking to see. Do you think that's what's happened? You know,
you know our season when we didn't know when we would beat. This team are brilliant.
The celebrations at the end of that game was incredible.
QPR battered. It was they raised their game. QPR won't play as well as that. But the boys managed. We're not giving up. We're not going to just take a defeat and have 1 out of 10 games. No, they wouldn't do that. And they managed to find a way to score. And that's what I've taken from it. That the tough matches, the Luton away and the QPR away, where it's easy to lose, they managed to dig in and really shown, you know, they can play anyone.
Well, all the players saying they're not looking at the league table, but we can have a peek at it. Why not? This is how it looks right now. It is worth mentioning as well that Burnley play tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff. They're at home to West Bromwich Albion. But I guess for supporters and us here, it's more about what's going on below, really. And what an incentive to grow that gap again. for albeit 24 hours, to put the pressure on the chasing pack again.
It's interesting when you talk, obviously, I know a lot about Burnley as well. It's my boy being there, so I follow what they're doing. And the talk is, right, we're up at this league, but really you're playing third, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know, always, and yes, you want to be champions, you want to go and dominate the league. But, you know, at that point, Watford are dangerous, and you're just trying to keep that gap all the time, keep the momentum away. Yes, you want to close the gap above you, but it's just this game in front of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another 3 points today, be a fantastic return from form, obviously, into 2023, and I think some good games coming up as well.
Yeah, well, the World Cup break really hasn't stopped Sheffield United at all. Their run's been incredible. The last 5 games, for example, if you just take a little sample size of recent results, 4 wins out of the last 5, obviously with that last-minute equalising goal at QPR thrown in as well. As Carl says, they just never know when they're beaten at the moment, although I'm sure Paul Heckingbottom would fancy a clean sheet, and maybe we'll touch on that a little bit later on. But maybe that's just me being nitpicky again. It is approaching 22 minutes past 7. We're building up to Sheffield United against Hull City that kicks off at 7:45. But plenty more action coming your way over the next few weeks. Wrexham against Sheffield United could be a tasty one in the FA Cup 4th round. 4:30 kick-off at the racecourse for that one. Then it's back to league action, a South Yorkshire derby, and Sheffield United no doubt out for revenge when they make the short trip to Rotherham. The 4th of Feb, 12:30 kick-off, and we'll be on air from an hour before. Then it's Sheffield United at home to Swansea on the 11th of Feb, and we will start at 2. Now, the beginning of September, Sheffield United travelled to Hull and reclaimed top spot, and with it ended Hull's perfect home record.
And we're underway here at the MKM Arena. Sheffield United kicking from left to right. Now Berger away from Woods. Takes one from a long way out. Cutting in field now. Doyle, again from distance, decent hit. Njayi's picked up a pocket of space here. Nice piece of play from Njayi, got the shot away as well. Low, good football by United. McBurney, chance to shoot maybe. McBurney! United lead, and it's that man again, Ollie McBurney. He just can't stop scoring at the moment. The Blades 1 up on Humberside. Well, 2 goals with his head recently. This one though, a shot from outside the penalty area. Berger here for United. He's around the goalkeeper, Sander Berger. Cuts it back, Coyle's there to clear for Hull. Estepinian. Great save by Forringham, the rebound though, and I think Forringham may well have got a touch again. Omar Hodic going for goal. Estepinian looking to feed Tufan. Chance here for Hull, and Tufan has put it over the bar. Second half is underway then. Has he got the support now, Njayi? Does he need the support? Njayi's still going. Iliman Njayi, wonderful play. Here's Iliman Njayi. That's good play. Lovely play from Njayi. Berger. Berger on the charge. Sander Berger takes a deflection. Into the net. Berger for United. The Blaze double the lead. And Sander Berger back on the score sheet. 2-0 United. Daylight now between the two sides. A lot of speculation about Sander Berger's future. He remains at Sheffield United, and that's why they're delighted to keep him. The 3rd goal of the campaign, and you just felt United needed that 2nd goal.
A reminder for all of the match broadcasting regulations for tonight's fixture, go and check out the website sufc.co.uk. Let's remind you of the Sheffield United team news. A couple of changes from the weekend coming in. Tommy Doyle and Daniel Jebbison, and a welcome return from injury for Ollie McBurney, who makes the bench for the Blades tonight. Hull City, a word on them guys, because they're unbeaten in their last 5. Liam Rosenior is the manager now. Good to see a young coach getting his opportunity. Obviously he was at Derby alongside Wayne Rooney, then he got a caretaker role at Derby. This is a big job for him, isn't it? But he seems to have taken to it pretty well. You know him, don't you?
Yeah, it's a huge job. I've just seen him, had 5 minutes with him, said, how are you getting on? He enjoying it, loving every minute of it. He obviously felt that Derby County was let down slightly, that he could have done a better job. and he was talking about systems and setups, and he was getting complicated with me, and I said, where did you learn that? He said, I've been studying for a long period of time, I've been doing my homework, been coaching with Wayne Rooney, who he obviously went in and developed more in the first team level and more responsibility. So he's got many ways of playing. We're just waiting to see how he's going to set up, and what's interesting, away form has been really, really good. He's very honest. He tells you how it is with his team, and he's getting on really well. Good young manager.
Yeah, very humble guy. His dad's a top bloke as well. A couple of changes for Hull tonight. Smith, who was on the books here at Sheffield United, and Longman drop out. Connolly and Coyle come in. We're not 100% sure, but it does look like that they're going to match Sheffield United up. What does that mean for the Blades, though? Well,
I think if you're playing against a team that's perceived better than you, if you can match up their formation and work as hard as them, you can try and nullify them. I think you're playing against a really good Blades team, and you're not going to overpower them and outplay them. If he tries to outwork and match them up, you understand what he's doing, but you've got to understand their chairman spent a hell of a lot of money. You know, they've got some big players there, and they're expected to do well, and it looks like he's getting on top of the job.
I think the key was when they spent the money, they were prepared to do it, but the players that they bought weren't necessarily suited for this type of standard, high intensity, being able to play constant football, so many games. So that's a really good note for Sheffield United, isn't it, to go and run on, test them, really put them on the back foot with high intensity. And if they're going to try and play out, whether it's the back three, back four, he might change in possession as he rotates around, trying to create the extra player, whether the midfield player goes in wider areas, the wider ones come into the central midfield. It's about the intensity of the press for me. And like you said, the set up for Sheffield United. And maybe that's why Heckingbottom was just gone, because he's got a bit more legs.
Yeah, but they couldn't cope with our press at their place.
I think they're different now, though.
Oh yeah, and we were missing. McBurney was on song. You know, he's such a key player, and how well we've done without McBurney. I'm not joking. Against Hull, they couldn't cope with him. You know, and we're missing him now. But the press was so hard, and I don't think their players are technically as gifted as ours were. So we were able to deal with the ball much better because we weren't being pressed, whereas they were struggling to get out of our press. So it'd be really exciting to see how they get on.
Picked out a few individuals who might have a say for Hull tonight. There's one that stands out right slap bang in the middle of the picture there, Regan Slater, who's done really well. And I think it reached a point, didn't it, where he was here, had to get out to get some football, the opportunity to join Hull came along, and he's taken that opportunity with both hands. The manager's a big fan.
Huge fan. That was the first one I asked him about, and I actually said, Liam, how's he getting on? What do you see in him? And he said he thinks he can go up to the next level.
Wow.
So that's a big call. I don't think he's saying anything. He might want to keep it quiet till into February, that's for certain. Maybe said it too early, but I have done, and that's one of those. But it's amazing as a young player wants to go and develop somewhere else, to want to go and play. And at times, you just can't find that gap or that room for you to go and actually be a better player. And then all of a sudden something happens, a manager likes you, you find a position with players in and around you that help that situation. We just heard about Ollie Norwood saying that Stuart McCall helps him in that role. I felt he helped me go forward and develop my career. So it's just that nice fit.
We seem to find that we come against so many players that we've had to let go, not being malicious or anything, but we couldn't fit them in our squad.
But doesn't that tell you a good thing? Isn't that good though? Because you want to develop. That means this club is developing great players.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And that's the point.
And
so you've got to take it.
Of so many other teams are our old players that we couldn't fit in. So it's testament, as I say again, time and time again. Our youth setup and our recruitment is spot on. What they're doing at Shirecliffe, other than churning up fields and stuff, is just wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, good luck to Regan Slater. Not tonight, but I will wish him good luck because he's a Gleedless lad, which is my neck of the woods. So good to see him making his way. We didn't mention Oscar Estepinian, who we'll touch on later on because we're on time. But he is the second top scorer in the Championship this season with 12, 4 in his last 4 league games, so someone that Sheffield United have to be wary of. No doubt Carl will be talking about him in commentary at some point tonight. Now, earlier in the week, in an SUTV Live exclusive, we caught up with first team goalkeeping coach. We don't hear from him at all, do we? Well, we will now. It's Matt Duke, and he's been very impressed with the 2 keepers this season.
Yeah, they've been good. I mean, obviously, from coming in, there's been a few changes, obviously, but Wes, from the moment he got in the team, has been excellent, and obviously he got that with a Player of the Year awards last season, and he sort of continued that form on. And then obviously Davo's Davo's come in and he obviously got the chance when Wes was suspended. Obviously the first 5 minutes wasn't great, but after that he did great, and every moment he's been in the team since he's been excellent. And not only that, I think they find the biggest thing for somebody who's a number 2, and then obviously the younger ones behind him, they've got to push Wes and push for the number 1, and he does that every day. He comes in and trains hard. You know, there's never any gripes from him. He just gets on with his job, and that's, from a coach's point of view, that's exactly what you want.
Wes's rise here over the last 18 months has been, really impressive. Just tell us about the work he's done behind the scenes to go from where he was at the start of last season to where he is now. Yeah,
obviously when he first came in, he obviously come as a number 2, and he didn't really get a chance that first season. And obviously when Slav came in, he was sort of in the team, and then he came back out, and obviously for him, he got the chance. And he's just took it. He's just gone from strength to strength, in my opinion. Obviously, and again, he's a guy who comes in every day, just gets on with his work. He doesn't really, he's not up and down. He just comes in, cracks on with his work, and I think that's testament to him that he's just got his head down and cracked on, and again, never really caused any issues when he wasn't in the team and things like that. And I think that's the way you've got to be. You've just got to come in, and the day you do your job and you train hard, and then if you get your chance, you've got to try and take it, and he's done that, and more than done that.
You mentioned the competition already from Adam Davis. From your experience as a support keeper and as a number 1, just how important is it to have 2 really good keepers pushing each other all the time? Yeah,
it is. I mean, obviously they get on well as well, which I think is good. That the group at the minute, they all get on well, and which is great. But I think it's important that the 1 is playing on a Saturday to stay in the team, and the 2 is pushing every day to get in the team. And I think that's the way it's got to be. And like I said, that's the way it is at the moment, and it's great for everyone. And a quick word on Jordan Amiss. We saw a little bit of him at Luton this season. He's gone out to Burton recently. How big an opportunity is that for him to get some experience now? Yeah, massive. I mean, obviously he played pre-season against him, and they obviously mentioned straight after the game that they liked him, and sort of not really much plans to get Jordan on loan. So obviously he was his number 3, and he was doing great behind the scenes and working hard. And then obviously it came up, and we were sort of like, this is too good an opportunity for him to miss, and obviously he's going to have competition because they've just signed a keeper as well, so that again, that's good for him, which means we quite had to call Marcus back. And but Jordan, like I say, he's really knuckled down and worked hard every day, and like I say, that's all he can do, that's all he's got to do. And like I said, going to Burton, obviously one of my former clubs as well, like, it's a fantastic opportunity for him, and it's good for us as well that the keepers, we get him out as high as we can. And obviously he's played League 1 football now, and when he comes back to us, it's a good chance for us to really see where he's at, and then hopefully if he comes and challenges as a 3, or he's got another opportunity to go out on loan, it's fantastic for him and the club. A couple of games coming up with Matt Duke connections. First of all, Hull, you obviously starred for them. A couple of promotions, time in the Premier League, some nice memories from your time there. Yeah, it is a club that I do love. Every time I go back, I enjoy going back. Not as many people there as I know from years ago, but there's a lot of connections. I've still got friends connected with Hull City, so obviously want them to do well, but not twice this season. So, but like I say, I had fantastic memories there, so it's brilliant. And of course, got Wrexham in the Cup, and they're managed by Phil Parkinson, someone you know really well from your time at Bradford, getting all the way to the League Cup final, of course. Yeah, he was obviously came as manager at Hull as well for a short period, and obviously signed me at Bradford, which was good of him because obviously I was out of contract at the time and looking for a club, and he took me into there. And the first season was a bit of a struggle in the sense of the team, but obviously the second season when he'd made signings, and that pre-season he made a load of early signings, and it was a strong squad, and obviously got us well organised, and then obviously the promotion. But the cup run was just something that I think when you look at it from the outside and look back at it now, you realise what an achievement it was. Obviously when you was there and the inside of it, you were just cracking on with it and getting on, but it was a fantastic run, and I'm sure the fans will remember that forever. And it's like 10 years now, which is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, it was such a good run, and memories from that obviously you'll never forget.
Good to hear from Matt Duke. We're going to focus now at the other end of the field and hear from Daniel Jebbison, who starts up front tonight, having impressed recently. He says the key to success at the moment is to not get too carried away. Oh yeah, it's huge, we just need to keep pushing and not drop below our standards. Like one day you can't have a slack day, because that's at the end of the day that's going to lead into your next game, and you'll see it on the pitch. That's just how the game goes, and that's why we're on near the top. So training has been brilliant.
We're not far away at all, but it's not over yet. We still need to keep going, yeah.
Last season seemed a season of, well, catching up. Ultimately, it ended in the playoffs, didn't it?
Yeah.
This season, you've led from the front, well, along with Burnley, of course, but led from the front.
Yeah. I think the gaffer's done a really good job since the beginning of pre-season. He made it all clear to us that like what he expects in the upcoming season, and he's kept it the whole way through like that. You know, he hasn't changed how he does his things, and we all live by that here. We all agree with him, and you know, he's doing a great job with us by, you know, setting those standards, and we're following them.
Still only 19, Daniel Jebbison. Do you remember playing professionally at 19 and what it felt like?
No, not
No,
I wasn't.
too long ago.
I didn't start until I was 21, so no,
Late
I don't.
bloomer. You, Brownie?
I remember him at that age, 21. There's a big game not far away from that he didn't get on too well with. But yeah, I remember 19. I started 17. Really enjoyable. I mean, it's amazing. You're on that journey. Fantastic times ahead. How lucky. I wish I could be there again, doing what he's doing. And by the way, he fancies him tonight massively, don't you? You fancy him to do well.
I feel he's going to get at least 2.
Wow.
Well, I can't help it. You asked me a question. I think he's right. I think he's really shown the hunger, the position.
So striker on striker then, give us your appraisal of what he is as a front man.
Frightening. That's it. I'm not going technical. He's frightening. He's got
similar to Saab's.
Yeah, frightening. No, but he actually knows what he's doing. I made it up as I went along. No, he looks like he's ready. Physically, he's had a big change as well. He looks really dynamic and quick. And he's getting in the right areas, and there's no coincidence that they're working with Jack Lester. All the strikers have looked sharper this last year. That boy was incredible. Brownie knows him as well as I do. In the box, Jack Lester was one of the best. And our strikers look much more dangerous now. They're working with him.
How do you see him complementing Njai?
That's what's good in it, because someone can actually run and take the line, and Njai can come and link and actually come and roll, get into positions. And I think those runs are really important now, Ilman Njai, where he can actually turn, travel forward, he gets his head up, those sliding passes, you can run into those angles and make forward passes. So I think it's a great foil, full of energy, 19 years of age, and we're looking to see what he can do at this stage, at the top of the championship. He's going to get better, he's going to develop, good players around him. We talk about McBurney, Sharp, who are going to help him as well. So listen, it's fantastic, isn't it, that these two are on the pitch.
Carl, you're about to get ready for commentary, but before you go, what's your prediction tonight?
I think we're going to score at least 4. Sorry, I'm really sorry for this. But
I thought he was going to say 1-0, but Jebbison's getting 2. No. I was going to add, I'd like to see that in a big way.
No disrespect for Hull, because obviously it's a local derby. They come across and they're a strong team, but I just think our boys are frightening at the moment.
Well, we hope he's right. Let's see whether that comes to fruition. 4-0, says Carlos Saab.
No, at least 4. Could be 6-2.
At least 4. At least 4. We'll get Brownie's prediction in a few moments, but let's hear from the Blades boss, Paul Heckingbottom, who's been impressed with Hull's recent upturn in form.
Well, yeah, they've been good in terms of recent results, undefeated in the last 5 or 6, but especially away from home, you know, 5 wins and 2 draws, and the draws have been at Watford and at Millwall. So we're playing a team who, know how to set up and know how to pick up points, and they'll be coming wanting the same. So, yeah, we're expecting a game against a team who have got a prescribed way of playing. Liam's got them playing out from the back, but also at the top end of the pitch they've changed slightly and made some changes. And Liam's made changes as he's gone along in the last few games, you know. From the start of his time, you can see the team evolving. So from that aspect, we know what we're going to face, which we always like that, we always enjoy that. But on the flip side of that, we know what we're going to face because they're performing well, and they're doing it well at the minute. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
Does that fact then that they are a team that like possession-based football and played out from the back maybe allow Sheffield United to return to getting on the front foot a bit more?
Not necessarily, because most teams have changed against us, so like I say, we always have to be prepared for that. Norwich are probably the best example of a team who like to play, but they played the first pass and then tried to turn us. We get that because teams maybe think we're a good pressing team or like to press, so like I say, we know how, and I say it all the time, before games, after games, we have to be prepared for whatever they're going to throw at us. So we know how we want to press and win the ball back. We know how we want to deal with a team that will try and bypass that press. And then when we've got the ball, we know how we want to try and play against certain systems, certain shapes to hurt them.
A reminder, all of the broadcasting regulations around tonight's fixture are available on the website. Never gets boring, does it, that view? Looking at Bramall Lane, especially when the lights are twinkling as they are.
I love the night games. I'm just looking out behind us in the studio and I'm thinking, brings back so many memories. Love to be on that pitch right now. And the atmosphere is going to be really, really good. We know because of the position that the team and the manager have got the club into. It's a big, big night. It's another drive towards the success, towards promotion. I'm really looking forward to this one, Paul.
There must be a feeling for the players that they can, to some degree, go out there and play with a bit of freedom, considering the cushion that they've got over third. I know Carl doesn't like talking about it.
I don't like talking about it too much. I just think you've got to play this game. How can you prepare? What can you do? And what's in front of you, what type of challenges, look at who you're going to come up against, how can you do well against that, and just forget everything because you're here tonight. That's what you've prepped for, ready for this game, and that's going to be a better mentality for you, rather than thinking, well, this is getting a bit nervy and looking behind you, because things can change quick.
Do you know when the players are saying, when they're asked, are you looking at the league table, they say no? Is that genuine? Is it coming from
You're
the
not serious, are you?
Well,
I mean, it's ridiculous.
The
manager said, well, we're just looking at the game. We're always looking at that game. But when you finish the game, you're looking at the table and saying,
let me phrase it differently then. Do you think that message has come from the management
of course
staff?
It is. He's trying to take.
If you're asked, say we're not looking at the table.
Well, it is. It's one of them. We're concentrating what's in front of us. We're trying to be as professional as we can. We understand that. But it's human nature. We're looking, we're getting excited. But it's how can you control it, how can you keep a lid on it. That's what the manager's trying to do. Wherever he can, he's trying to squash it. He's trying to condense that feeling of looking and getting too far ahead of yourself, because it's the championship. It can come very quickly. Lots of games coming up, and as I say, this is why I feel like this type of game, this one tonight, is a really step forward with that table.
Hey, look, there's some added spice to this one as well. It's a Yorkshire derby. You shouldn't forget. We've not mentioned that aspect to it yet.
Well, hopefully it is. It's one of those, intensity, drive, and imagine the atmosphere from both sides is going to be really, really good. And I think it's how you start the game. Can you start positive? Can you drive? Can you turn them round? Get some crosses in? Great runs forward. The intensity we talked about is going to be key.
Here we go then. Looking forward to this. Friday night football at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United against Hull City. A Yorkshire derby. They're almost good to go. So we'll hand you over to your commentary team, Carla Saba and Matt Young.
Thank you, Paul. Two of the Championship's form teams collide under the lights here at Bramall Lane, with United and Hull looking to continue their respective impressive runs of form. The Blades unbeaten in 7 in the Championship in their fight for automatic promotion. Hull, well, they haven't lost in 6, and a run at the top 6 certainly not out of the question. Plenty of at stake then tonight in front of a packed Bramall Lane crowd as United attempt to stretch that advantage over third position to 14 points. Carla Saba joins me. 30,000 on a Friday night at Bramall Lane. Nothing better, is there, Carl?
Oh, well, I wouldn't know. But yeah, it's going to be wonderful. And these players, we've not seen them go into a big match and not perform. You know, the matches last season, the Middlesbroughs, the Forests in the playoffs, they grew and they really put on a show, and that's why I fancy them really heavily tonight.
Going first on a Friday ahead